Hello and welcome to our first tutorial inside Unity for our side-scrolling Christmas game, and I still have no voice, so forgive me. So I have loads of stuff in here that I'm not using. This is sort of if I go to my desktop, so this is my game here, and in my assets folder I have a few bits and pieces, but sprite components are basically all of the images that I've used to create my sprite sheet, and that's my sprite sheet there. So I've got firing, idle, jump, walk, and explosion. Now all I want to do in this video here is set up the animator. I'm not going to do any scripting or physics. There's absolutely nothing in the game, so just going to set up my main character. So first of all, I need to set it up to be multiple sprite, apply, and then sprite editor. Now this may take a while, so slice. Now what we need to do is we need to oops, not zoom in too far. So we need to make sure there's nothing overlapping. So I'm going to call this J1. That looks good. J2. J3, J4, J5, and J6, and then I want to delete the collision or the detection of these ones on the text. So next that's fire, so I'll have to call them J for jump. That's I'll leave it like that. Let's not kill ourselves. And I'm going to zoom in just a fraction. There we go. So again, we're just checking that the sprites are not overlapping. Now let's just double check this one. This is idle. So we'll call this I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, I6, I7, I8, I9, I10, now if we look at these ones, the collision is right beside the feet, and I think I can move this up fractionally. Okay, and that was I10, I11, I12. That one's okay. I13, I14. those small changes will make all the difference between it looking smooth and it looking awful. So the next one is jump. So I'm going to call it jump 1 because there's not many of them. Jump 2. The jump doesn't matter if it's touching or not because he's going to be floating in the air. So we're just looking to see that this box has got no overlapping information in it. This is jump 4. And jump 5. And delete all these guys. Now, the next one is the walk cycle. So, W1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, which you probably are, you could probably fast forward this and then go do it yourself rather than watching me rename a whole bunch of sprites. And I can't even remember the last one. That was 10. So this is 11. 12. 13. And this kind of checking that there's no overlapping, as I said, is very important. Now you don't have to do it at this stage, but if there is overlapping between them, when I say overlapping I mean that, so that some of this sprite is in that one's box, and sometimes Unity gets it wrong when it's trying to put it together. We may see some errors in this explosion one because they're irregular shapes, the sprites. So for example, that one is overlapping this, so that would return a huge error. So let's so I'm going to call this EX1. That's perfect. EX2, and that is the sort of problem I'm talking about. So Unity doesn't see where it should end, and that's my fault because this is high enough to include that. So I'm going to end up cutting off a little bit of that, but we can live with it. And bring that up here. This is EX3. And we've no EX4, we've none here, so we can create one. So we can just draw a box and set its size. Perfect. Okay, so now we have a perfectly set up sprite sheet, and we go apply. Excuse me. Now I never so EX3, and I put that in new, and it should be EX4, and then apply. Now, perfect. So let's just set this up in the animator, and go to the animations window. We'll drag our player in here and we'll call him, so we'll call him mech player 1. And we're going to create a folder for animations, and inside this we're going to call this another folder, make player 1, and then inside here we're going to call this walk, and all the walks are the W's. So we'll see how fast it is and bring it down to say 18. That's probably still too fast, so 12. But looks better at 18, so I'll go back to 18. Looks smoother. Okay, so 18 it is. I want a new animation. I want an idle cycle. So that's my eyes. So I1 to I9. Again, we'll bring this maybe to 18 and see what we get. Okay, there's a bit of lifting here, so that's what we were trying to avoid, and that's a bit fast. I'm going to bring it back to 12. Okay, so that's enough, but I'm going to go close this. I'm going to go back to my sprite editor and have a look at my idle cycle. Okay. So on the ground, so I was looking at the back foot on the ground, grounded, not so grounded, grounded, fine. Okay, so it's just badly, so what I've done is I've created it badly then in Blender. The front foot is raising and lowering. So let's open the animation window again, select the player, we'll select our idle cycle. Okay, now there's something else happening here which is interesting. The sprite is getting smaller and it's compressing towards the center. This is the center of the sprite, so as the sprite gets smaller, and we don't want that. We want the compression to be always at the bottom here. So again, I'm going to close this. I'm going to go back into our sprite editor. I'm going to zoom in a bit. Whoa, not that far. That's enough. This will take a little bit of time as well to do, but you'll get the idea. So this compression should be here. And while it doesn't matter a huge amount for fire or for our walk cycle, because this is getting smaller, this will alleviate our problem. Now there's another way to do this. You can actually so pivot, I can go bottom, and that way it's more accurate. So as I said, it's slightly time consuming, but I hope you can see from the compression I was getting in the other sprite during the idle cycle just how, oh, I think I created a new box there. Yeah, I did. I'll delete that. Just how important it is. So bottom, 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 I'm not gonna fix it all. I'm just gonna do this idle cycle, and hopefully you'll get the idea. Now, the thing we don't want to do is change the jump to the bottom. We want to actually leave them in the center. Nearly there. 2 more. Now I'll apply that. Close the window. Go window, animation, select the player, select the idle cycle, and press play. So you can see it's compressing downwards now towards the line. So that will give us a much better idle cycle in the game, as opposed to kind of compressing and floating off the ground, which is obviously not what we want. Now we have a little bit of it here where he's gonna, so we need to set that walk to be the bottom as well. So but let's set up the rest of the animation and then go back and do that. So we have our idle cycle and our walk cycle. We want a new one. We want jump, and jump is here. I'm gonna set that to 80. Okay, it's not pretty, but it'll do. And we want another new one, and that's going to be fire. And that was beautifully done, J1 to J6. Okay, so we got a shaky leg, but that's what we've made. So let's make that. Okay, so that's some firing. And create a new clip. We're going to explode, and the explosion is these 4 here, and we'll make that maybe 12. Okay. Maybe 8. So 12 maybe. Okay, so that's at a 12. So now we have our walk, we have idle, jump, fire, and explode. So there are all of our animations. Okay, so you can close this window. Let's go back to our sprite editor. I have a random sprite somewhere, this one, and I just haven't renamed that. So this is W15, W16. Okay, so this is W17. And therefore this can be W16. Okay, we just named them both the same, so it renamed them for us. So we want to, so this is set to the bottom, so all we need to do is select the sprite and set it to the bottom. Oh, actually we said we wouldn't do that. For, yeah, so center for you, and then yeah, so for these ones, it's bottom. So I'm not going to set the bottom for the explosion. If in the game it looks weird, we can always change it, but I don't mind if the explosion kind of overlaps part of the level. Might make it might look more dramatic. And bottom. So you can see when you have a number of animations, setting up the sprite sheet. We are 20 minutes into a video now. We haven't done anything except set up the sprite sheet. This is very time consuming, but that's what you need to do. It requires care and attention. Otherwise, in the game, you'll get compression or bobbing or undesirable sort of effects. So I'm going to go save scene, and we're going to call this level 1. Okay, and I'll make a folder for my lower scenes. We'll drop level 1 in there. Okay, now the thing I'm most interested in is setting up my state machine with all of my animations in it. So I have an animation controller. Unity made it for me. I didn't have to make it. I double click it and then it loads in here. And I'm going to undock this so I can make it mucho bigger. Give myself some room. I do want to leave access to this though, so when I'm setting up transitions I can see their behavior. So I want my idle to be my default. From the idle I want to be able to explode. I want to be able to fire. I want to be able to walk. I want to be able to jump. So let's just set that up nice and neatly. So from idle I'm going to make a transition to walk, because I'll be able to get to any of these states from idle. Now from walk I can definitely go back to idle. From walk I can definitely fire. From walk I can definitely explode. And from walk I can definitely jump. Now let's examine jump. While I'm jumping I can go from jump to walk and from jump to idle, but I'm not going to leave a transition to go from jump to fire. What does that mean? That means that we're going to have to wait to go from jump to idle or jump to walk before we can then go to fire. I could put one in, but I'm going to choose not to, because it's already going to be too complicated. Or not too complicated, but complicated enough without adding that in. From explode I can't do anything. So all roads end here at explode. So from fire, while I'm firing I can definitely explode. While I'm jumping I can definitely explode. And while I'm walking I can explode and idle cycle. And what can I do from fire? So while I'm firing I can transition from firing to walking, and I can go from firing to idle. And again, I'm not going to add in a transition from firing over to jump. I don't need that. So this is my rather complicated web of transitions. Now, like we did in class, I'm going to give them all a number. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to create an integer and I'm going to call it states, and I'm going to set all of the zeros up first. So when the states are equal to 0, idle cycle. When the state is equal to 0, idle cycle. When the state is equal to 0, go to the idle cycle. Now, is there anything else going to the idle cycle? So I've got 1 going in, 2, 3, so that's it. So that's 0 sorted. Now this is going to be 1. So how many are going in here? Well, this one's going in here. So when walk is equal to 1, or when, you know, this transition, so if I'm firing when I'm equal to 1, transition here, this is a transition when I'm equal to 1. This is a transition when I am equal to 1. And so how many are going in here? There's 1, 2, only 3 going in. So equal to 1, equal to 1, and equal to 1. So I've got 0, 1. Jump is 2. So what's coming in here? There's only 2 coming in. So this is when I am equal to 2. And when I am equal to 2. So what we've just completed is very similar to what we did in class. 0, 1, 2. Now we're just adding on 3 and 4. So this one is when I'm equal to 4. This is when I'm equal to 4. This is when I'm equal to 4. And this is when I'm equal to 4. So I have 4 transitions. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can transition from any state to explode and when I'm equal to 4. Now that's what this is for. So I can make a transition from here to there and then not have to do that one or that one or that one. So I can delete, 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 delete. That means I can say from any of these, when the state is equal to 4, go to explode. Okay. Now fire is 3. Now can I go to fire from any state? No, because I don't want to be able to go to fire from explode. So the rest I have to do by hand. So this is number 3. So when this is equal to 3, and when this is equal to 3. So they should all have values now. So when I'm equal to 3, press fire. When I'm equal to 1, walk. When I'm equal to 2, jump. And then when I'm equal to 0, play the idle. Now, how do we test that that works without getting scripts? Well, it's quite simple. We play the game. And I'm equal to 0, so I'm gonna do that. When I'm equal to 1, I'm gonna walk. When I'm equal to 2, I'm jumping. I need to change that so it's at the bottom. After all, when I'm equal to 3, I'm firing. When I'm equal to 4, I'm exploding. And I need to change them to the bottom as well. So I'll make those changes to my sprite sheet and we're done for this tutorial.